They say your home is your castle, a place where the doors lock tight and the outside world stays exactly where it belongs, beyond the walls and beyond the reach of your bed at night. We believe that we have to. We tell ourselves that once the deadbolt slides into place and the lights go out, we're untouchable, safe, protected. But safety is just a feeling, and feelings can be wrong. Think about it. How many times have you walked through your own hallway in the dark and felt like the air was heavier than it should be? How many times have you glanced at a shadow in the corner of your room and convinced yourself it was just a coat hanging on a chair? The truth is, we trust our homes more than we trust our instincts. We ignore the small sounds, the faint creak above the ceiling, the soft shift of air behind a closed door, because admitting something is wrong means admitting that the barrier between you and danger isn't as strong as you thought. The walls don't always keep things out. Sometimes they hide what's already inside. Tonight, these stories aren't about haunted houses or urban legends whispered around campfires. They're about ordinary homes, normal people, bedrooms, closets, offices, laundry rooms, places that should feel familiar, places that should feel safe. But in each of these stories, something uninvited crossed that invisible line. And the worst part is this: in every case, there was a moment when the person involved realized they were never truly alone. And once you feel that realization settle into your chest, once you understand how fragile that sense of security really is, you start to wonder if the silence in your own house is really silence at all. Marcus first noticed the footsteps a week after moving into his small rental house, a quiet one-story place at the edge of town where the streetlights barely reached the driveway and the nights felt thick and endless. Every night at exactly 2:17 a.m., he would wake up to the sound of slow, deliberate pacing above his bedroom ceiling. It wasn't the random pop of wood settling or the distant scurry of a mouse. It was rhythmic, measured, like someone counting their steps. 3 steps, a pause, 3 more. At first he convinced himself it was his imagination, the result of moving into an older home with unfamiliar sounds. But the footsteps continued, always at the same time, always directly above his bed. One night he forced himself to investigate. He climbed up into the attic through the hallway hatch, shining a flashlight across dusty insulation and old beams. Nothing. No footprints, no disturbances. Just stale air and silence. For a few nights after that, the footsteps stopped, and Marcus almost felt foolish for worrying. Then they came back, louder this time, closer to the corner of his room where his closet stood. When the sound shifted, dragging slowly across the ceiling toward that wall, a cold dread spread through him. He opened the closet and pushed aside his hanging clothes, noticing for the first time that one section of drywall looked slightly uneven, like it had been cut and replaced. His fingers trembled as he pressed against it, and the panel gave way, revealing a narrow crawlspace hidden between the walls. Inside, illuminated by his shaking flashlight beam, was a thin blanket, a half-empty bottle of water, and food wrappers that hadn't gathered any dust. Someone had been living there, above his bed, listening to him breathe at night. Police searched the house but found no intruder, no signs of forced entry. The crawlspace was empty by the time they arrived. But later that week, Marcus received a voicemail from an unknown number. There were no words, just the faint, unmistakable sound of footsteps pacing slowly, followed by a whisper so quiet it almost blended into static. "I'm still here." He moved out the next morning, yet even now, years later, he claims he can't fall asleep without imagining 3 slow steps above him, as if the space between ceiling and roof was never truly empty.